Welcome back to this week's episode of the Goonery as we are firmly entrenched into the road to WrestleMania, less than a week away. I mean, shit, not even less than a week away. We're 2 days away. And Brandon, we're going to dive right into it. I mean, it's an interesting WrestleMania card, to say the least. I don't know how you feel about the card, but I'm not jacked up about it per se, but I'm interested to see how everything shakes up more than I thought I would be, I guess, 2 weeks ago.
I don't remember the exact number of the WrestleMania, but it was the one with AJ Styles and Shinsuke, Charlotte versus Asuka, Roman and Brock main eventing. But
Mm-hmm.
I remember that as being that WrestleMania where, like, yo, I can't wait for this. This is going to be one of the greatest WrestleManias ever. And then it didn't turn out that way.
Yeah.
My point in this is that it's good to go into WrestleManias with somewhat to no expectations, because you look at the card and it's just kind of, I won't say thrown together, but it's also a lot of stuff that you will probably see on Raw, but considering it's WrestleMania, you'll probably see more. So I'm not gonna sit here and say that the card is bad, but I'm also not gonna sit here and say the card is blowing me away or anything like that, because it's not. But I do think, look at the card, there is a lot of potential. And I think the fact that there are a lot of wrestling fans and even mostly WWE, well, a lot of WWE fans are not crazy about the card, but that could be the biggest reason why it's going to be a potentially good WrestleMania.
So that's a good point because, in my opinion, when I go into a WWE show, especially WWE, I'll say when I go in with very low expectations, I oftentimes find myself enjoying it more than I thought I would. I would say 9 times out of 10. I'm sure honestly you could relate with that because there's just times where when you have this much talent, talent is gonna win out in the end on a
Mm-hmm.
big stage like this. And if you give these people the time to do it, I like to move to 2 nights. It's probably still going to be 3.5, 4 hours each night. That's better than sitting watching a 7, 8 hour WrestleMania in one night because you get fatigued. You're going to get fatigued in a 3 to 4 hour show. So, I mean, I've been going back the last few weeks watching some old WrestleManias, and Mania's never really got past 3 hours, 3.5 hours up until I would say, shit, 10 years ago, maybe, like
Yeah, I think
roughly.
I want to say it was
Roughly.
like 28, 29 is where it started.
Yeah. But I'm happy that they've opted to go to the 2 day event. And I know that's an effect of COVID and Vince wanting to overproduce everything on that first COVID mania. And that's fine. I enjoyed that show more than most people, I think. The fanless WrestleMania. I thought for what they had to work with, it was a good show.
Mhm.
But I'm excited to see the first Mania back in front of a full capacity crowd, unlike last year. And I, I'm I think night two has a little bit more going for it, but we're going to start out with night one, just breaking down what we're expecting, what we expect to see. The Raw Women's Championship, Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair. I think I know how both of us feel about this match. At least I know how I feel. I would like to see. I think the number was 26 seconds that Becky Lynch beat Bianca Belair for the women's title. Was that SummerSlam when she came back?
Mhm.
I would love to see Bianca Belair beat Becky Lynch in 26 seconds at WrestleMania. And I know people might get their panties in a bunch saying that they don't get enough time to show. This story's been building since August. And people say WWE doesn't know long-term booking. There's no long-term storytelling. Look at this. I mean, Lynch came out, surprised her at SummerSlam, beat her, and I think it was 25, 26 seconds. There's no reason that Bianca Belair should not squash Becky Lynch in this match if you're trying to build a genuine star. Because Becky Lynch is as made as you can get in WWE as a woman star, in my opinion.
I'm glad you brought that up because I was literally going to bring up that point. I, along with a whole mess of people, when I saw Bianca Belair's historic title, and I say historic because of how it started,
Mm-hmm.
night
Mm-hmm.
one, two black women, main event of WrestleMania, that was history. for it to be ended in such short fashion in the way, and like considering they were building a Bianca for months and months and months. She was built like as a dominant champion.
Yeah.
For her to lose in 26 seconds was it killed SummerSlam for me and entirely for me. But this is what happens when real talent wins over. And you know, a lot of people are going to say that it's probably not going to be the case for some people, but it's going to, like, that's why you have to let things play out, because I think when that happened, it's like, all right, Becky Lynch is back. She's going to run the women's division. Charlotte on the other show is going to run the women's division. Sasha Banks going to be in the fold somewhere. And, you know, all the other guys are going to follow suit. But when you look at Bianca Belair, it's just undeniable how talented she is, and gradually
she's a star.
She is a bona fide star. She has gradually gotten better over the year. Over the years, her ring work is good. Her mic work got a lot better. This is a star, and Becky Lynch, like you said, she's made. She doesn't need a title to validate herself. So it's a no-brainer. If Bianca wins in 26 seconds, that'll be awesome. I'd like to see them get more time, but it would make for real good storytelling.
I obviously want to see a great match, but from a storyline perspective, I could see this being a match that goes short. That's my only point behind that. And I think it would just tie a nice bow on what would that be? A damn near 8-month build to this at this point.
Yeah.
And Becky Lynch is at her best when she's in chase mode. I think that she's at her best when she's chasing for the title. And we saw that for years. And I think we'll get back to that a little bit, and maybe she'll get knocked down a peg, and we'll see Bianca Belair kind of run roughshod over the Raw women's division for a little while, and rightfully so. So moving into the next match on the card is honestly probably one of the matches I'm the least excited for this weekend. It's the Mysterios versus The Miz and Logan Paul. I mean, I really don't think there's any much to touch on here. I think that the Mysterios are going to beat them, and I think Logan Paul will surprise a lot of people. I think it won't be as great as Bad Bunny at Mania last year, but I think people will not be upset with Logan Paul. I'll say that.
I agree, and it's crazy how we absolutely despise celebrity inclusions in WrestleMania, but Bad Bunny kind of set a standard. He set a standard like, and I think it was attributed to the work he put in the Performance Center leading up to that match too. So, you know, if Logan Paul surprises people, it won't surprise me, because I mean, not for nothing, celebrity inclusions, there's got to be something there. They obviously see something in Logan Paul. I think he's going to do something. But I mean, I still don't like the guy, but you know what?
No, me either. I think he's a hand job. No way around it. But I mean, he was a state wrestling champ in high school. I think he was like going to wrestle in college before he just found his YouTube success, I guess you could say. And you couldn't have put him with a better guy to tag with than The Miz. I mean, they complement each other well, two egotistical assholes from the state of Ohio. But the next match I want to get into, another one that I could really give two shits about, is Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin. I think it's just, I think it's going to be a squash, and it's going to send Corbin back into a spiral back to sad Corbin. And Drew will get his sword back. I think that's going to be about the extent of that match. I think that'll be a 5 to 6 minute match.
It should not go longer than 5 to 6 minutes, but you know what? As much as I absolutely despise the Happy Corbin gimmick, he's a damn good worker.
Corbin can work, man. He has as good of a big man moveset that this is going to sound super controversial, I think, but he has as good of a big man moveset that WWE has seen since The Undertaker or Kane, in my opinion. He's safe, and everything he does looks like it hurts.
I'm not mad at that. And you know what? I didn't really think about Undertaker and Kane per se. I was more going with like the Albert A. Train route.
Okay. No,
if
I
we
can see
remember,
that. I can see, no.
Wait, Albert became A-Train. He was a monster, and he had a damn good moveset to go with it. But that's a good comparison, though. I'm not mad at that.
I just in terms of safety and everything he does looks like it hurts. I mean, the
Yeah,
deep six is a great signature move. I
it's
think
beautiful.
that's awesome. The end of days is as protected of a finisher that there is in the WWE, which is
Yeah,
bonkers considering it's Baron Corbin. And I think Baron Corbin's the last person to pin Roman Reigns, if we're being honest.
I think he is. I actually think he is.
And I'll be completely honest. I'm upset over the fact that Baron Corbin didn't get a run with the WWE title after he won Money in the Bank. I just would have liked to see someone fresh like that get the title because I think it would have been a decent run if he was booked correctly. But I hope this loss at Mania to McIntyre sends him spiraling back to that sad Corbin gimmick because I don't think they ran with that long enough. I don't know how you feel about that, but I feel like they could have really dug into that a lot more.
They could have, but I actually see it going a different way. So one thing that got lost within this whole storyline is Madcap Moss.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean is that regardless of whom he is in the ring with, he's actually pretty damn good in the ring. And I think
No,
that
you're right.
dissension between Corbin and Moss that's been leading up to this match is going to blow over, and they're probably going to separate the two. I think Moss, I don't know how much of a singles run he's going to have, but I think it's inevitable. It's going to come within the next month or two.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Madcap Moss join the ranks of that little faction that Sheamus seems to be developing either. I'm not rolling that out of the equation.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
No, I know. But all right, another tag team match: the Usos versus Rick Boogs and Shinsuke Nakamura. I mean, I really don't know about this one. Not sure about you. I mean, I think the fact that Boogs and Nakamura have a Mania match for the tag team straps kind of tells you all you need to know about the SmackDown tag team division. But it's only a matter of time till the New Day takes them off the Usos again. That's how I look at it.
Here's the thing. It may not be the ideal SmackDown Tag Team Championship match,
I think it's gonna be
but
good.
any match the Usos in is going to be good. I trust them with anybody. They are the best tag team in the world, and I'll die on that hill too. I will absolutely die on that hill.
I'm hey, guess what? I'm right there with you, man. I think that they are they're calculated in the ring, they're crisp, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's something about them. They're just believable. And since
Yes, that perfect
they
word.
just like
Perfect word.
they believable, you believe. And when they got rid of the face paints and they just really went in on being Jimmy and Jay, not the Usos, when they became Jimmy and Jay, if that makes sense, instead of playing a character,
Mm-hmm.
it clicked. And them just being the cocky cronies behind Roman Reigns it's just been what they needed. And both of them can go, man. Like,
And what makes me happy, and I'm glad you said that they're not playing characters. You could tell that's Jimmy and Jay that's on TV that you see in real life. That's the
yeah,
key. But the fact that they are Roman Reigns cronies, but they're not really cronies because they may get their ass beat by
they're the
Brock
most
Lesnar.
dominant tag
But
team in the business.
exactly, and one thing that has been a staple for WWE is that whenever there's a faction, there's like this tag team that gets bitched from whomever. But the Usos don't do that. They may get beat down by Brock Lesnar because who the hell is not going to get beat down by Brock Lesnar? But everyone else is fair game, and that's what I like about them.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think the Usos retain. I'm sure it sounds like you're kind of on the same side as I am with that.
Yep.
So moving into the SmackDown Women's Championship match, which excuse me, not sure if it's main eventing. If they've kind of been unclear about this whole thing, but Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey, I have absolutely no interest in this one. And what are your thoughts? Because I think we both know how this one's going to go down.
First of all, I want to come out and say right now, and I know it's been 2 months in, about to be three. Ronda Rousey's return has been an absolute flop. an absolute flop. And here's the
Botch
thing,
after botch.
it is bad. And you can tell that she just went straight back into the business. There wasn't no working on her craft. There wasn't no,
Mm-mm.
fine tuning certain things. Like she's always been kind of awkward on the mic, but I think when she became a heel, it came more naturally than
Mm-hmm.
intent. But when she is fighting for the crowd, it does not work. And we've seen that over the past couple of years for a lot of wrestlers, and she's like the prime example of that. So I think until there is a full-blown heel turn, Ronda Rousey will not be appealing. She will not be interesting. Nothing. I am not looking forward to this match, and I feel like it's going to be one of those matches where it's going to be a complete bore to where the fans are going to crap on it. And granted, I'm not in the camp of crapping on like the performance in the ring, because it's kind of it's
Mm-hmm.
rude to me, especially when it's women, because it seems a little bit more personal.
No, I
But
get that. No, for sure.
but I'm not looking forward to this. I'm absolutely not looking forward to it because Charlotte doesn't have any type of appeal to me, and Ronda Rousey. I mean, if she's not a heel, then I don't care. And Sasha Banks should have been in the match because that's my
I agree.
favorite. That's
I
my favorite.
agree. Yeah, I think Rousey's going to win and head right into a program with Sasha Banks. So
If she don't win the tag team championships with Naomi, which I think they will.
that okay, that's
Spoiler.
also a fair point. That's also very fair. So Stone Cold Steve Austin will be appearing on the KO show with Kevin Owens. I just want to start by saying I just want to tip my cap to Kevin Owens for carrying this build by himself. I mean, just great promo after great promo, tricking the crowd with walking out. I mean, he didn't really trick anyone when he was dressed as Stone Cold, but then that was just a great segment overall. I mean, I think that we're going to see Austin hit Owens with the book, hit him with the Thez press, the mud hole stomps. We're going to see a stunner. We're going to see a beer celebration and send everyone home happy. I think most like if it doesn't end the show, I think it's going to start the show, if we're being completely honest.
My advice to WWE is one thing and one thing only: do not overcompensate. Keep it
Mm-hmm.
simple. Have them beat the ever-loving shit out of one another. Have Stone Cold standing tall in his hometown. If you really want some heat, have Kevin Owens reign over him and to get with the stunner. Do whatever. I don't give a damn. Stone Cold is my GOAT. Kevin Owens is one of my GOATs at this moment in time. I don't give a damn because Stone Cold don't have anything to lose from this other than just giving the crowd a pop. But Kevin
Mm-hmm.
Owens, if he could do some damage to Stone Cold to end the show, I mean, boy, oh boy, will we be talking about that until night 2. So either way it goes, I'm cool with it, but please don't overcompensate it. Keep it simple and just have it be a brawl.
That's a great way to put it. I mean, that's honestly a great way to put it. It's going to be fun. There's no doubt about that I think it's going to be a fun segment. But getting into what I'm most excited for on night 1 is Seth Rollins versus to be announced. I think we all know at this point who it's going to be. If you don't know, you've been living under a rock. I thought it was hilarious. I saw an interview with Becky Lynch. She said that when people asked her about the fans chanting Cody, she said they were chanting Colby, which is Seth Rollins' real name, which I thought was nice little touch. But if you live under a rock, it's going to be Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes. And Cody Rhodes is going to have the most elaborate WrestleMania entrance of all time, dude.
Yeah,
There's gonna be people who love it. There's gonna be people who hate it, and it's gonna be interesting to see how Vince McMahon goes about booking Cody Rhodes, because if the rumors are true and they're paying him $5 million a year, you're not paying him $5 million a year to come in and lose his first match at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
And we mentioned that Becky Lynch is bulletproof. Seth Rollins is bulletproof too, man.
Yep.
So I think this is going to be the match of the weekend if it is those two.
I'll be hoping for a good match. I will probably smirk when his music hits, I'm not gonna be a full-blown smile because I'll be fake and I'm not fake. Um, but I'm going to have to prepare for my favorite wrestler to lose to my least favorite wrestler. And granted, I am a 25-year-old man. I should not be affected by what an outcome of a scripted sport is going to be. But when WrestleMania come around, I'm a 15-year-old kid and I can't help it. So I just have to mentally prepare for that to happen. But congrats to Cody Rhodes. Get your bag.
Yeah, I mean, I'm never going to shame anyone for getting $5 million a year to wrestle, to fake fight in spandex. So, I mean, good for him. I'm interested to see how it goes, to be honest. I've been seeing rumors online too the past couple of days that Shane McMahon might be an option. So I think that'd be the ultimate troll job by Vince if he brought out Shane McMahon. And if that was to happen, I think Vince is out of touch, but I still think that he would have then Cody Rhodes come out and like beat the crap out of Shane before he got to the ring, just to troll with people. I think it's no doubt about it that we're going to be seeing Cody versus Seth.
And you know, the funny thing is, let's say if it is Shane McMahon, they'll boo until Shane hits a coast to coast and everybody gonna go crazy. So, listen, Shane McMahon tries to kill himself every time he gets into the ring. That may be as dark as it gets, but damn it, it entertains the fuck out of me, so I don't care. But let's just say if that is the thing, right? Cody Rhodes is absolutely going to come out to confront Rollins after the fact. It's going to be it's a win-win regardless. Seth Rollins will get his win, and then whomever is a fan of Cody Rhodes, they get to see him too. And you have a confrontation, boom, that's it. You set the tone for future pay-per-view. So there you go.
I think what I'm more interested about is if in fact it is Cody Rhodes, what entrance music do you think he's going to end up using? If it isn't, do you think he's going to use Smoke and Mirrors, or do you think he's going to use the what he's been using on the Indies and in AEW, the Kingdom by I think it's Downstate, who does the Miz and Dolph Ziggler's music as well?
I think it'll be the AEW indie theme for sure, because Smoke and Mirrors is not gonna. It just doesn't fit the character now.
I agree. So. I agree. So it'll be interesting because I don't know if you know the intro to that, like how that starts, where it goes wrestling has more than one royal family. And that was when Cody was in full shit on WWE mode after leaving from being Stardust. Vince is going to have to make him cut that, right?
Oh, 1000%. There's no way that right? That does not leave the board. Hell no.
It's gonna be interesting to see how that goes down. But moving into night 2, a match that I'm very, very, very excited for: Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory. I think this has, like, I know I just said that I think the potential Cody and Seth match is going to be match of the weekend. This has potential to be match of the weekend as well. I mean, you saw what Pat McAfee was able to do in front of no crowd at with Adam Cole in a one-on-one match, in a singles match with a no crowd at NXT. Pat McAfee's going to have 100,000 plus people watching this live, cheering him on. We're going to see some crazy shit from McAfee, I think. And I mean, not to dump on Austin Theory. Austin Theory is a great professional. He's great at what he does. I think he's a future WWE champion because Vince McMahon obviously likes him if he has him in a match with McAfee like this and trusts him. And he's young. He's like, what, 24, 25?
Yeah.
It's going to be a good match, I think. And I'm happy that they're not making it a gimmick match, because that shows that they have faith in McAfee, I think.
Absolutely. And you know what? McAfee, when the cameras are on, and whether it's Smackdown, whether it's his podcast, he's a natural. He is a born natural at whatever he does. Like he's amazing. He's just an amazing talent. But I hate the fact that I truly believe he's going to lose. I like McAfee so much that, damn, if I was booking that, he would win. I like Austin Theory, but I feel like his gimmick stinks. I don't like his
No, I
gimmick
think
at
it
all.
stinks too. I hate his gimmick. But do you want to know what I think is going to happen? I could see potentially, hear me out. I know I talked about Shane on night one potentially, but Shane getting jealous of Austin Theory with Vince kind of taking him under his wing and it being a DQ and McAfee winning by disqualification with Shane McMahon taking out Austin Theory.
I also could see Theory winning and Shane interrupting after the match.
Okay, yes. That's honestly probably more likely.
Yeah.
Because there's no reason to protect Pat McAfee.
Right.
I mean, he's a commentator, end of the day. But I'm excited for it. There's a lot of ways they could take it. And I think what's going to happen, you're probably right. Theory will probably win and then enter into the United States U.S. title picture. Probably. Most likely.
Definitely, because he's having like a mini feud with Finn Balor already. So
yeah. We'll just stay on celebrity matches. Sami Zayn and Johnny Knoxville. I just can't wait to see what obnoxious bump that Johnny Knoxville takes. That's what I'm waiting for, because it's gonna be like Shane McMahon falls out the Titantron-esque, I think.
He's going to act an ass this weekend. Let me tell you, and no pun intended, by the way. But I mean, you might see him go coast to coast type of thing when Shane McMahon be jumping off the top to an announce table, something like that. Something's gonna happen. It's gonna be a big spot. But this is no holds barred, correct?
No, I don't think it is. That's what I was surprised by. I think it's just a singles match.
Interesting.
Which I think it'll end. I would be surprised if it doesn't end up changing. I mean, you'd be like, Johnny Knoxville is 51 years old, never wrestled outside of the Royal Rumble. And I think that Battle Royal or whatever it was on SmackDown. But he's 51. They gotta let him rely on a gimmick. As good as Sami Zayn is, Johnny Knoxville's not an athlete. He's a stunt guy. He makes people laugh by getting hit in the balls for a living.
Yeah, exactly.
And I have no idea what to expect for this. We're gonna laugh. We're gonna see the Jackass crew, I'm sure. And this will probably be the second match on the card, if I was to guess, second or third match.
Yeah, probably somewhere in the middle, or either or. I think
Sami Zayn loses though. Completely, to be completely honest with you, I think he's gonna lose this match.
Yeah, we differ. I think Sami Zayn's gonna win. A well-deserved win too, because he's had a hell of a year.
Oh, I would love to see him haluva kick Johnny Knoxville's head off. I think it'd be hilarious. But I think the Jackass crew screws it over for Sami Zayn. That's where I'm at in my head.
That could happen too.
So I don't really want to gloss over this, but I mean, WWE has glossed over it for the past 2 years, 3 years since these titles have been a thing. Fatal 4-way women's championship match, tag team championship match with Zelina Vega and Carmella defending against Naomi and Sasha Banks, Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan, then Natalya and Shayna Baszler. I mean, woof. Let's just throw every woman on the card. That's what this match is, and I get it. They're trying to get them. They're getting them the WrestleMania payday. I'm sure they appreciate it, but this will be less than 10 minutes. This isn't. I mean, it's going to be a thrown together mess, and I know you said earlier you think Naomi and Sasha Banks are most likely going to win here. I think we're going to see Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley win here and kind of go on a Kane and X-Pac type of run.
I wouldn't mind it, but it's tricky because you want, like, let's be honest. Rhea Ripley and Sasha Banks are like the 1A, 1B star of this match. Like after this, you will want them to go at the singles titles. So that's why it's like tricky, because those are only teams you will want to see win are most likely to win. But what's going to happen after the fact is, are we going to get Rhea Ripley against a Becky Lynch or Bianca Belair? Are we going to get Sasha Banks against a Ronda Rousey? We don't know, but it's still either or, which we will both enjoy. But like, it's definitely up to them too.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I also wouldn't be surprised if Natalia and Shayna Baszler won here. I have no idea what to expect.
Ooh, they
And
would boo the hell
honestly,
out them.
I honestly think it's going to be Vince, depending on what his coffee tastes like in the morning when he wakes up. He'll probably decide that morning. If we're being completely honest, I mean, I don't think anyone has any idea, and that's fine. Whatever, they're on the card, good for them.
Yeah.
But a tag team title match that I'm very excited for: RK Bro defending against the Street Profits and Alpha Academy. Can I just say I'm just so fucking thrilled that RK Bro has not broken up yet, because they have been so enjoyable to watch the past year or so roughly that they've been together. And it's just that goofball, oddball pairing that WWE kind of tends to strike gold with every, I would say, 5-6 years in the tag
Yeah.
team division. And it's just like, it's awesome. You could tell Randy Orton's having fun. Matt Riddle's getting the rub by just being associated with Randy Orton. People seeing him on social media. So I think Riddle's a future world champion.
Yep.
And I just love this. The difference between the Raw and the SmackDown tag team divisions, they're night and day. Like
Yeah.
night and day. I mean, Alpha Academy is awesome. I love that Chad Gable's finally getting to go.
Mm-hmm.
Otis has honestly been kind of enjoyable as a heel. I can't believe I'm even saying that. And then the Street Profits are, I mean, as good as it gets in the WWE too. Montez Ford, if and when he gets a singles run, man, oh man. We talked about his wife, Bianca Belair, being a star. Man, Montez Ford, you could strap a rocket to his back.
I've been saying for the longest of times, I think most of my Twitter followers agree. Pair Bianca and Montez and have them be the arrogant, I'm better than y'all. Y'all can't do a damn thing about it couple. And yeah, you got gold right there. But
yeah,
I was very, very, very convinced that RK Bro's gonna break up. That tag team match, I believe this was like early in March, where I didn't expect them to win. I thought Alpha Academy was going to hold on to their titles, and then
yeah.
and then they won. I was just like, you know what? This gotta last some time, man. I think we are getting a break from Randy Orton being a singles competitor. I think that helps a lot, especially when we have somebody like Riddle that can carry the workload and stuff like that. So that's also awesome. And you know, I've said this on numerous occasions. Chad Gable is the
He's
one.
that dude.
He
He is
dude. Amazing. And you know what? I remember his like little segments with Jason Jordan back in NXT when he first started, and you saw it. It was there, like the personality was there. It was just, and then they turned him into like a serious wrestling group, which was totally fine because
American Alpha was awesome.
Oh, amazing.
Awesome. I mean, it's a shame what happened to Jason Jordan, because they would have run roughshod over the tag team division for almost a decade until they decided to break them up.
Absolutely. So this match is going to be amazing, and one of the more underrated matches on the card that not a lot of people are talking about, but I think Saturday and Sunday you're going to see the difference between the tag divisions in Raw and SmackDown.
And I love tag team wrestling, man. Like, I think tag team wrestling is my favorite type of wrestling when it's at its peak. And this is honestly maybe the match I'm the most excited for this weekend, which is crazy because I just think it's gonna blow the roof off the place, and it's gonna be very, very, very hard to follow. So I would not be surprised if this is the opener.
It should be. You gotta wake the crowd up, and that's the perfect match to do it.
Yep. So another match that I wouldn't be surprised with it being the opener, if they were to go this route, would be Edge versus AJ Styles, which is one of the few matches, we kind of said this to each other, that genuinely feels like a WrestleMania match.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the direction that they're taking Edge. I mean, just a new type of heel Edge that I don't know if we've seen before.
No.
And it heel Edge is at its best, but it just feels a little different because since he's come back from his injury, we haven't seen even an ounce of heel Edge, if you know what I'm saying.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's just like egotistical Edge is when he's at his best.
Right. And one thing that I have noticed is when you look back at Edge's climb in 2005 until he became the man, like he was a bona fide main eventer 2007, 2008. There was an urgency about him. He was an opportunist because he knew he belonged there and he had to make ways for himself. Hence why he's called Ultimate Opportunist.
Yep.
Now, with him as a heel, it feels like he's a made man. He don't need to be an opportunist.
Yep.
He knows he's an asshole, but he knows he's a made man, and he knows that he is basically the prize in this feud. Because while AJ is great, Edge has established himself. When he came back, that crowd popped for a reason, because he gave us memories upon memories. So that's how I assess it. But it's crazy because considering he has this new character, can he afford to lose? Because AJ can afford to lose. He's a made man, bulletproof, like we've been saying. But can Edge afford to lose this with his new gimmick? I'm not sure.
Edge is going over. I don't think there's any doubt about it. And especially with this new heel turn, there's a genuine lack of well-developed heels on the main roster, in my opinion. And I think we're going to see a heel versus heel title match at SummerSlam with Roman Reigns defending against Edge in the main event.
I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind. You know what? You know what's funny?
And they'll make it work. That's the thing. They will make it work.
Absolutely. And you know what? I was going a different route. I think it's going to be Cody and Edge at SummerSlam.
Oh.
Like, because not for nothing. If you take, because Cody is probably going to be champion before SummerSlam, or he's going to become champion at SummerSlam. Those two, with their character development, the promos we would get out of them would be amazing. Granted, and I don't know about putting amazing promo Cody in the same sentence, but someone's got to bring out of them, right?
I know you're not a Cody guy. I don't know how much Cody you've watched since he left. I know he got a lot of shit from the internet wrestling community, but I think Cody Rhodes is so damn good at what he does, and just he screwed himself over by not being willing to turn heel. I think if WWE pays attention to the reaction he gets, and Vince won't be afraid to tell Cody no, like Tony Khan most likely was, if we're being completely honest.
That's true.
And if the crowd reacts to Cody positively, I think he's going to shoot right to being the biggest babyface in the company. If he doesn't, he's going to be that 1B heel behind Roman Reigns. And that's my opinion. And that's not a bad place to be, if you really think about it, because Roman Reigns is the standard bearer in the industry right now, and I don't care what anyone says. I don't care. He is as good as it gets right now. And his God mode shirt that he's wearing, the greatness on a different level or whatever it is, it's so corny, but God, does it work?
It fits him. It fits him. And only him can have a tagline like that.
Yeah, so I mean, just getting into it with Roman and Brock. Brock has been awesome on this build of Mania. I mean, babyface cowboy Brock has been a joy to watch. I don't know if you feel the same, but Brock genuinely looks like he wants to be there, I think. And which is crazy. And I know a lot of people were upset with Brock taking the title off of Big E like he did. And it sucks to say, I don't think WWE had very big plans for Big E as the WWE champion. I don't think he would have held the strap going into Mania. And it sucks because I think Big E is one of the best they have in the entire company when he's healthy. But I'm happy that we're getting this. I don't like that it's title versus title, but I like that by the end of this, we're going to have one champion, and it's going to let WWE kind of put a sheet over how poorly they've built up strong baby faces. While if you have one champ that everyone is chasing, I think it's going to let them build up some baby faces to get to that level and not run through challengers as easily, if that makes sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. And I honestly don't know how long that unification is going to last. And I hope it doesn't last long. And because they've gone back and forth. I don't know if you noticed, but they've gone back and forth, title for title, unification, whatever the terms are. They've been going back and forth with this. So I'm holding out hope that they're not, because I really don't want to see that. I'm a big believer in having a champion for both brands. Maybe that's just me. But
no, I agree.
But I just can't see this match failing. And I think there was a lesson learned with the last time they main event WrestleMania. And I did put myself through the trouble of watching it yesterday. Oh my God, it was bad. Oh my God. And you know what? Looking back on the build to it, not bad at all. Not bad. They did a good job building it up. But the match itself was an absolute bore. Like, I was going to fall asleep. It was that bad. But just with how their characters are developed now, they're both alphas. It's not like they keep playing this underdog role with Roman, which they inexplicably did back in the day. Like, these are two guys that are legitimately going to beat the shit out of one another. And if you want to take the example from Crown Jewel, that wasn't a bad match. And you don't think, if do people think that the ante is not going to be upped at WrestleMania, they're gonna act an ass on Sunday. So I think you have to have the two biggest stars in the company go for the championship. This is it. Like this main event feels big. And while I agree with you, not a fan of unifying the titles, but they have did everything possible to make this match feel like it is a big fucking deal. And I tell you, I'm there's gonna be a point where like that. There's gonna be a point
bowing down to my tribal chief, man.
There's gonna be a point where I'm like, yo, speed these matches up because I want to see the main event.
It's just so crazy that the fans for years and years wanted to see a Roman Reigns heel turn. And I would like to say more often than not, Vince McMahon knows what he's doing. But when he finally, after 5, 6, whatever year, how many years it was, turned Roman Reigns heel, he doesn't. I guarantee Roman Reigns is making the company more money right now than he ever did as a babyface outside of the Shield, most likely.
100%.
I mean, he has a new T-shirt every 2-3 weeks. It feels like at this point. I mean, just look at that smug look on Paul Heyman's face. Does that not make you just want to smack the shit out of Paul Heyman?
All the time.
And it's just, you want to get mad at Roman Reigns, but you're almost in that like paradox where, I mean, as grown adults, we can enjoy how good the product is with him, but you're in that paradox where you want to cheer him for being so goddamn good at his job. It's almost like heel Edge in 2007, 2008, where it's like, you shouldn't be cheering for him, but you have to appreciate just how great it is.
I'll do you one better. His character is comparable to his own cousin in 2003, came back as Hollywood Rock, and he was so damn entertaining that it don't matter that he was talking down to every city he was going to, but once he said the millions, and made him calm down a little bit, but people were still saying it. So, perfect example, which, by the way, I'm hoping and praying
we're going to get it.
That face-off.
We're going to get this
WrestleMania. I'm hoping and praying.
Dude, we are going to get that stare down. There is no way this show does not end with The Rock's music hitting, doing his whole flamethrower gun thing probably on the entrance, marching his way down the ramp, Roman holding both titles up above his head, and The Rock and him just staring down, and The Rock just looks to the WrestleMania sign. And that's all. And it's gonna fade to black. It's gonna fade to black.
Oh yeah, that would be that's what I think pay-per-views in general are missing. That
Yep. That
That
big send
feeling
off
of,
moment.
damn it, I can't wait till 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, where the fuck you are in the world. I can't wait to see what's going to happen on Raw. Or you have to wait all the way to Friday. Damn, I can't wait to see what's going to happen on SmackDown. That right there is what this WrestleMania needs for it to be memorable. And if that happens, everybody's going to remember for a long time. It's going to be a talking point for at least until Raw start. I need it. I need it. I need it as bad as it.
This WrestleMania has the potential to kind of, I'm going to say, usher in a new era for the WWE. Kind of, and not that Roman Reigns hasn't been spearheading this new era, but there hasn't been that signature moment. And that this WrestleMania has that chance to be that signature moment, I think, and allows WWE for the first time, in my opinion, to really turn the corner outside of that post-COVID era. And WrestleMania has been that moment in the past. We've been texting back and forth a little bit this week about what we think the most influential WrestleManias have been. And I right out of the gate said 17, but then you kind of caught me. I think it's pretty agreed upon that 17 is one of, if not the best WrestleMania, top to bottom.
Yeah.
I mean, you had Austin and Rock, you had the TLC match. I mean, it just, you could go on and on with that card. So we both talked. Your WrestleMania, I find it hard to disagree with what you said. WrestleMania 21 for being the most influential, and for our era especially.
So let me preface this by saying I did not even bother considering 1 through 10 because those are kind of a hard watch. I'm a younger guy. I'm not into that.
It sucks to admit, but it's not the professional wrestling that we grew up with. And
it's not.
While I acknowledge that it's important and it has meaning, I don't want to go sit and watch King Kong Bundy versus Hulk Hogan in a steel cage match at WrestleMania 2. I don't want to do it. I mean, people always talk about how important Hogan versus Andre was at WrestleMania 3. Have I watched that match a lot in my life? Yeah. Do I enjoy it? Absolutely not.
It's terrible. It's not a good match.
It's horrible. Andre can't even move at that point. But
exactly.
Besides the point, you can argue WrestleMania 3 is the most influential Mania because that was kind of the one that sent WWF into the mainstream, I think, at the time. But for us, for our age, it's different with 21 especially.
20. Let's break down WrestleMania 21. Edge was lingering on being a high mid-carder to being a possible main event, and they were pushing him to be a main eventer back in 2002, 2003. Then he got hurt, and then he wins the Money in the Bank. Randy Orton. Now, you may say, wait, Randy Orton won a championship in 2004. He beat Chris Benoit for the World Heavyweight Championship. A lot of people forget it was rushed, and his title reign wasn't good. That's why they took it off of him very, very early. He was very, very. It wasn't looking good for him. He was about to go down the card. Green.
Yeah,
he was about to go down the card and be quickly forgotten about. And then he said, "I want the Undertaker. I want the Phenom. I want to break the streak." And legend has it that Undertaker wanted Randy Orton to end his streak.
I mean, the Legend Killer. It made sense.
It made perfect sense. And you know what? At that time, probably would have been mad at it. But considering how that match went, and by the way, if you don't remember that match, go back and watch it. It is an incredible match. Incredible. So Randy Orton was made a star. And you can tell by the way his feud with the Undertaker lasted throughout the year that he was going to be a star going forward. He had it. John Cena. Think about what John Cena was 2 years ago at this time. He was just a rapper, a guy that got under people's skin saying the most offensive things possible.
The spinner U.S. title belt.
Exactly. Feuded with The Undertaker, feuded with Kurt Angle, feuded with Chris Benoit. You didn't think he was going to be the guy that would break through because he had a gimmick that it was good to get over, but at the same time it was like, I don't know. But he broke through against JBL. And the kid in me, when I saw that, when I witnessed it for the first time, because Lord knows I hated JBL, but when John Cena finally broke that barrier and won the title, I was happy, but good Lord, I didn't know what was going to happen next. This man became the face of the company. John Cena, a guy who, good hat, great hat. He became the face of the company, carried the company. WrestleMania's on. I mean, it doesn't get bigger than that. Everybody knows who John Cena is. And then we go to Batista. Y'all,
I
I
love
want y'all,
Dave Batista, man. I love Batista so much.
I want people to go to YouTube and type in the full feud of Triple H and Batista. There's 4 parts, and it shows you the build up for post Randy Orton Evolution to the final encounter with Triple H and Batista in that Hell in a Cell match. You want to talk about the perfect slow build to making an animal, no pun intended. Batista, the perfect example. Perfect example. And you know what? It was one of those, you're not sure, you see it, but you're not sure if he'll get that, if he will be the guy. They just had Randy Orton, who was very green at that time, take the championship. And then Batista comes along. We're just like, he may have it. He might have it. And then he proved that he does have it. He indeed have it. Now we had this discussion about who had the better build up between John Cena and Batista. And looking back on that this confirmed it for me. That 4-part series. Again, if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's some really good stuff, and it really shows like they committed a lot to building him up. You have 4 stars right there, 4 stars, and I didn't even mention the Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angle match.
That's the best match on that card. If we're being completely
Exactly.
honest, that is the best match on that card.
Exactly. And that's the thing. I'm not talking about the quality of Mania. If you talk about quality of Mania, 17 and 19 is in a class of its own. 20 is probably third. But WrestleMania 21 was the real start to a generation. The generation that we know. The generation that we say
has been going on since.
Cena. Yeah, I can't see a WrestleMania this influential in a long time. And truthfully, no one's been able to follow it. I may have to like study that, but there's no one who's come close.
No, I couldn't agree more. And 21 was my original pick, but just for the sake of argument, I said 14 just because it established Stone Cold Steve Austin as top babyface, beating Shawn Michaels in the main event, his first WWF championship. You saw The Rock really get established as that chicken shit heel with the Nation of Domination, and that built up the 2 biggest stars of that era. I mean, possibly the 2 biggest stars in professional wrestling ever, if we're being completely honest. But I agree with you. 21 by far and away. I mean, it's a great card, but you just like you said it best. You established John Cena, who is arguably the greatest WWE superstar of all time.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very big argument.
I mean, in my personal opinion, I would say yes, but I also grew up and was born in 2000 and grew up with John Cena as the guy. I love Batista. I would mimic Batista's entrance, watching as a kid from home with the tank. Triple H. I mean, that like people like to say Triple H buried everyone throughout his career, which he had his fair share. That was the perfect build with Batista, from winning the Rumble to thumbs down, and it was perfect. It was perfect, and I'm happy looking back on it that was the match that main evented that show.
I agree.
So with that being said, let's hope that Mania this weekend can even come close see either 14 or 21 as being as influential as they were. I'm looking forward to it. I hope if you made it this far, you're probably looking forward to it too. You're not going to be listening to the show this week if you're not looking forward to WrestleMania. But with that being said, we'll be back next week with regular scheduled programming, football, baseball, probably baseball with opening day coming up next week. And hopefully Coach K doesn't win a national championship by then. But with that being said, we will see you next time.